There's a story in the Bible of a man who wanted to give his all to God, and he was rejected. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep. Remember that. He was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And verse 3, and in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground and offered unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Now, we know the story that Cain killed Abel. But I want us to look at it from a different perspective, right? I want us to look at it from a Cain perspective. Now, we understand that the moment sin entered into the world, the wages of sin is death. So therefore, it was required that something must die. So instead of the person dying, that God set up a system where they would sacrifice a lamb. The lamb would die in its place, which eventually, as time passed and progressed, and Christ was born, and Christ died as the Lamb of God slain from the foundation of the world. So it says he was slain from the foundation of the world, but prior to him being born, all those lambs that were slain through the sacrificial services, where people will confess their sins of a lamb, cut his throat, put him on an altar, that represented Christ. But then when Christ came and died on the cross, there was no more need for any of those animal sacrifices. Thus, Christ was the lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So when Adam and Eve sinned up to that point, up until Christ, there was an animal sacrifice. Now, that is what God required, a pure lamb sacrifice as an offering unto him for the sins, for their sins. Now, consider Cain, right? They're out there. I would say it was a hot sun. Who knows? I don't know what the weather was like, but they're toiling. They are definitely toiling, right? It says that Cain was a tiller of the ground, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep. Abel was a shepherd. Cain was a gardener, right? Now, I'm pretty sure there were times before where Cain actually sacrificed a lamb on the altar and his offering was accepted. I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is a strong assumption, but I'm pretty sure like this part of the story, like Cain didn't just start being disobedient right away. You know, it's like with us today, you know, our disobedience, it doesn't just go, bam, we're disobedient. We disobey a little bit, then we disobey a little bit more, then we disobey a little bit more, then we disobey, you know, it's gradual, right? I'm pretty sure there were moments where, and this is a strong assumption, but I'm pretty sure there were moments where Cain actually put a lamb on the altar. But you know how we are, we humans, right? Abel's putting the lamb on the altar, but Abel's a shepherd. He's out there with the sheep all day. Cain is a gardener. Now imagine it gets to the point where Cain is like, You know, Abel's he always he can give the best of what he done. He raised the lamb. He made sure they're clean and not tainted or dirty. And he's offering his best. I want to offer my best. I'm speaking as Cain, right? I want to offer my best. So imagine Cain going out there in the garden. He's going to the vineyard and he's getting the biggest, fattest grapes that are on the vine, right? Putting them in his little basket. Then he go over to the strawberry patch and he's getting the best, red, juiciest, freshest strawberries off the vine. Even sometimes keeping the vine on them because he's going to do a little plating. He's going to make it, do a little display and make it all nice. He goes over there to the apples and gets the best red apple, the best green apple, yellow apples. He go get the banana, and he's got this thing all set up, and he takes his time and he lines it up because this is his best. And he's like, yeah, God's gonna like this. Yeah. And he's feeling good. He's feeling good about this praise he's about to give to God. Yeah, it make this when and essentially this praise makes him feel good. And so it makes him feel good to give it to God. This is his best. This is his interpretation of love. This is his expression of love. And he gonna give it to God. Because Abel is able to work out there and work hard with his hands, and he can give the best lamb and put it on the altar, and God accept. Hey, God is gonna accept my offering. I feel good about it. I work hard. I'm giving God my best. And he places that display. He got it displayed all nice. Probably got garnish around it too, you know. It's his best. And God doesn't accept it. Why? Because it was not what God required. Are you Cain? Are you aware of what God requires, but you're offering something different because it makes you feel good? And because it makes you feel good, you fooled yourself into believing that God is going to accept it? Even though whether or not you know it intentionally or you don't know it, you know what God requires, but you're doing something different anyway. Are you Cain? Am I Cain? Are we giving God what God requires, or are we giving God what we want to give God? Something to think about.